to the corner and gone. What a night. 10 runs in just over an inning, and Arroyo was shell-shocked. Fast forward 1 year to the day. Last night, and it was deja blue. Gone! Oh, man! Do you believe in karma? Arroyo and the Reds, red-faced again, and now the Jays set their sights on a Cincy series sweep. Jays and Reds, Game 3, next on TSN. It was another sizzler in downtown Toronto today. Thunder showers blew in earlier in the day. Reds and Blue Jays, finale of the series. Blue Jays have the brooms out. But some wet stuff. The roof has been closed. We are in high definition. For tonight's game, Joey Votto, kid from Etobicoke. One of the best rookies in the National League last year. Only 2 for 18 against the Blue Jays at Rogers Center going back to last year. And Blue Jays are hoping he doesn't break out of it. And speaking of breaking it open, how about this? What a great sight. It's so muggy in here. Pat Tabler, please tell me they're opening up this roof.
I like what I see.
Hallelujah. How about the Blue Jays last night? 8-2 win. Scott Richmond, great pitching, great power in the first inning. The Blue Jays right now are Scott rolling.
Well, since Cito Gaston moved Scott Rowland in the cleanup spot, he's been like the weather. He has been hot, hot, hot. And he's starting to flash some muscle, some power, a couple of home runs. He's hitting up over 400 since moving into the number 4 hole. What makes Scott so good as a hitter is he can hit the ball from foul line to foul line. And then there's always that great hustle and instincts on the bases that you see from Rowland. He's just one of a few hitters that have really turned it around since the Blue Jays put that 9-game losing streak in the rearview mirror.
And Scott Rowland doing it with the stick and the glove. Big defensive play last night. And again, you talk about that 9-game skid. Seems a long time ago now with what they've done lately.
Yeah, it really has, and the offense has carried them. Look at the home runs. 32 home runs in their last 23 games. That was the Blue Jays that we saw back in April.
The story, however, for the Blue Jays also has been their battered pitching core. So the ball goes in the left hand tonight of Brett Cecil.
I think Cecil has pitched really well. It's really just been one really bad outing, but his other 4 have been great. Look at his 5 career Major League starts. You throw out that Boston game when he gave up the 5 home runs, and his numbers would be really, really good.
Lesson learned against the Red Sox. Brett Cecil knows he has to keep the ball down.
Staying down. I mean, key to every game is keeping down the zone and leaving nothing up. And I think the biggest challenge for me right now is the changeup, keeping the changeup down. It's gotten up on me a little bit. Got up in Boston and it got up in Washington, and it hurt me a little bit. So I think it's the biggest key for me is keeping the changeup down, and same thing with the slider.
Brett Cecil will be facing another very good young pitcher in Johnny Cueto, who's been great on the road. His first appearance against the Blue Jays in his career. Cecil looking for a win, his first win since May the 15th.
There's Cueto against Cecil. Jays and Reds coming up, and the lid is opening. Yes. Next. Rogers Blue Jays Baseball on TSN is brought to you by Rogers, Canada's fastest mobile network. 3 times faster than any other. Visit rogers.com/fastest internet. Lid was closed, and it was stifling in here for a while, and so now the air is circulating, and it was circulating last night. The ball's flying out of here. Dusty Baker changes his lineup a little bit tonight, Pat Tabler, and moves Joey Votto into the cleanup spot. Brandon Phillips will bat third. Jerry Hairston second. Willie Taveras will lead off. And Johnny Gomes had a home run off of Scott Richmond last night and the rest of the Cincinnati Reds.
That is the lineup that young Brett Cecil will face here tonight. Cecil looking to build on a solid start from over the weekend. His first in the big leagues in a month. After 4 starts, he was sent back to AAA on May the 21st after that loss in Boston that we were just talking about. He looked better on Saturday in Washington, pitched 7 innings and giving up just 3 runs.
A week away from his 23rd birthday, Willie Taveras will lead off for the Reds. Had the night off last night. Had some trouble with his bat lately.
Lots of speed at the top of the order for the Cincinnati Reds. Be careful with Willie Taveras because he could really put that ball on the ground via the bunt. Coming into this season, 110 bunt base hits. That's why the corners, Roland and Overbay, are way in. And he is just begging for a base hit. Willie has really struggled with the bat of late. You can see how close Roland and Overbay are on that overhead shot.
The other way, Alex Rios can't get to it. And the speedster quickly to second base, and no play there on Taveras. And this is where it gets dicey because Taveras is lightning quick on the base paths, and he opens the game with a double.
It might just buy more fastballs for the batter behind him. Pitch out away from him, that inside-out swing that we have seen from Taveras the last few years, just slicing it down the right field line. No chance for Rios to get that one. He gets it in quick enough to hold Taveras to a double.
Taveras led the majors last year with 68 stolen bases. So he can go. And another guy with some fast feet right behind him, Jerry Hairston. Tries to lay down the bunt, but fouled away. Let's take a look at the scouting report for the Blue Jay lefty.
Well, as a pitcher, Brett Cecil's got the standard for the fastball, the slider, the curve, the change. He will try and sink that fastball. Early count strikes are so important to this youngster to gain confidence, and he must be down, down, down. He was talking about that in the opening. He needs to get his fastball down, and he needs to get that changeup down.
These Reds have not had the lead in this series coming into Toronto. They trailed 6-0 game 1 of the series. Last night we're down 5-0 quickly, with a chance to cash their first lead. Wow, Overbay right there on the soft liner. Out number 1.
That's the difference from the double and the single right there. If Overbay has to hold the runner on at first base, that's a single, and Taveras is standing at third. But the Jays have always played their first baseman well off that line with the right-hander up, and that's a nice, soft, easy line drive for the first out. Now be careful with Taveras at second base. Last year he was successful stealing third base 19 out of 20 times. This is a good time to do it with just 1 out.
Brandon Phillips. Was the cleanup guy for the Reds the last couple of nights, and again Joey Votto moves down in the order. Former 30-30 man, 30 home runs, 30 steals 2 seasons ago.
Cecil's doing a good job of giving Willie Tavares a couple of looks back there at second base, changing things up just a little bit. Remember earlier in this series, Carlos Fisher was a one-looker to Vernon Wells when he was out there at second base, and he almost walked into third when he took off. Cecil gives him one look and then back.
Phillips is the leading RBI producer for the Cincinnati Reds. 48 RBIs, 11 home runs. A slow start to this season.
Yeah, he's been battling a chip fracture in his thumb. But he's out there playing every day, plays hard. He just loves the game. And he's become the leader of the Cincinnati Reds team.
On the ground, Aaron Hill will make the play to first. Tavares will advance to third. This will bring up the Canadian Joey Votto, the man on third and 2 away.
When we got here today, the original lineup had Votto and Phillips flip-flop. Joey Votto usually hits in the number 3 hole, but I think with the left-hander on the mound, he wanted to split up those right-handers, Phillips, Gomes, and Hernandez. So he just flip-flops Phillips with Votto, and now Joey has an RBI opportunity here in the first inning.
Huge rookie season last year for Joey Votto. Just came off the DL, and in case you missed it, was on the disabled list. Had some stress-related issues, anxiety issues, inner ear problem as well. Ball and a strike. Home plate umpire is Damian Beal tonight. Scott Berry, Phil Cuzzy, and Tom Hallion around the horn here. Beal down the first baseline last night. This is inside, and of course those stress problems relating to the death of his father. Joey Votto's dad passed away last year and hasn't really been able to deal with it and kind of internalized everything.
Baseball is such a game and a sport where you are living in so many different hotels and you're on your own, and the demons can kind of creep up on you when you're all alone, something that he talked about.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Do you get a sense, we watched him last year here too, that he's pressing a little too much at home?
I think it's just human nature. When you come back home, you want to make an impression. Good changeup right there by Cecil to get underneath the bat of Joey Votto. I think you got friends here, you've got family here, you want to impress, you try just a little bit harder. Maybe your swing's a little harder and you pull off the ball just a little bit. So yeah, I think it's human nature that you can struggle.
Adam Lind. Ball bounces in front of him, and Joey Votto has a double. And cashes in the first Cincinnati run, the Reds' first lead in this series. Adam Lind looked like he was trying to track that ball, but Joey Votto has a double on his return to Toronto.
Well, Votto, you can't defend him because he can hit the ball from foul line to foul line, and it looked like Adam Lind was shading him in the gap in left center field and did not get a good read on that ball. Didn't get a good jump. Ball slicing away off the left-handed bat from Votto.
Johnny Gomes now. Homered last night, his 3rd of the season. And hits this one hard into the gap, off the wall, and a 3rd double as Joey Votto crosses and make it 2-0 Cincinnati. Johnny Gomes loves hitting in Rogers Center. Just missed a home run and hit one last night.
Yeah, we talked about his first big league home run was here. He hit one last night, and he came within inches of hitting another one. And this one looked like it hit right on the top of that auxiliary scoreboard, and somehow, instead of bouncing up and over, it stays into the ballpark. Caught on a fly by Rios. 3 doubles here in the first inning for the Reds.
Back-to-back doubles, Votto and Gomes. Cincy has an early 2-0 lead. Ramon Hernandez. 5 home runs, 28 RBIs.
Reds have an excellent record when they score first in any game. 24-7 when they score first.
Something they haven't done the last couple of nights.
No, it's
way behind early.
It's been the Blue Jays who have jumped ahead big. They really just coasted to the first 2 wins in this series.
Change up. Hernandez swinging. Dusty Baker looks a lot more relaxed than he did last night. Cecil talked before the game about keeping the ball down and finding his spots.
In his last start against Washington in the first inning, he struggled a little bit by finding that slot, keeping the ball down. And talked to Brad Arnsberg about him the other day, and he said, you know, it all starts with Brett's lower half. He's really got to get that lower half into it. And if he keeps that closed and keeps that lower half in there, he'll start to throw on a downward plane. He runs into problems when he starts opening up a little bit too quickly and that arm can't catch up to him and the ball sails up high.
Two, fouled away. Trying to get out of it here. Bit of a rough start for Brett Cecil tonight. It works into a 3-2 count. Cecil, first round pick of the Blue Jays, 38th overall, supplemental pick in the 2007 draft. The first player from the 2007 draft for the Blue Jays to reach the majors.
This is where he's really got to have a lot of confidence in his catcher, I think, Rob Barajas. Barajas has been around the block. He knows what he wants to do against these hitters. Trust him.
Not this time. Walks him. And this brings up the home run leader for the Cincinnati Reds, Jay Bruce.
It also brings out Brad Arnsberg. And I'm sure he's going to talk to him about driving towards home plate. Keep that front side closed. Drive towards home plate. Stay on top of the ball so you can work on that downward plane like we've been talking about.
Talked about Cecil being the first of that 2007 draft, and by all accounts probably shouldn't be in this situation, but because of all of the injuries, unfathomable amount of injuries to the Blue Jays starting rotation this year, he has been forced into the fray, and the Blue Jays actually have done well with the guys they've been able to bring up, considering.
You know, and I think he knows that too. When you draft a guy like that, he wasn't even on the 40-man roster. He was a non-roster guy who came to spring training. He opened up some eyes, but the plan was to send him to the minor leagues to get some more seasoning, to feel a little bit more comfortable on that mound, to make pitches when you were in these tough situations right here. But you're right, with all the injuries that they have had this year, he has been forced up here, and I think he's really held his own. He has had times when he pitched really well. I saw a quote from him after that start in Boston when they got him for the 5 home runs. He said, one of the things I learned in that game was, hey, you got to keep making pitches. Even if they score early in the game, there's a long way to go to get this game over with.
Again down the line. Lind can't get to it. Gomes will score. Here comes Hernandez, and yet another double. 4 doubles, and the Reds have a big lead, doing to Brett Cecil what the Blue Jays did to Bronson Arroyo last night.
Well, the first one was sliced down the right field line. The next one was sliced down the left field line. A shot into the right field gap, and then this ball was hit pretty hard by Jay Bruce. The ball kept carrying and slicing away from Adam Lind, and when that ball bounced over his head, that allowed Ramon Hernandez to score all the way from first base.
Well, Brett Cecil just trying to get out of this now and keep the damage right here. Already 4 runs are on the board. Paul Janisch, shortstop tonight. Dusty Baker's really had to shuffle the left side of his infield with all of the injuries on that side to that team. Janisch, no home runs, 3 RBIs. And already this is helping Dusty's guy tonight, Johnny Cueto. Down goes Janisch, but 4 doubles, count them. And a 4-0 Reds lead. Home run in the first inning last night. Scott Rowland again at cleanup. Adam Lind, Rios, Overbay, Barajas, and Adams, and Vernon Wells on an 8-game hit streak. Rowland has a 13-game hit streak going.
Well, if they're going to have to do it, they're going to have to do it against, I think, Cincinnati's best starter. Johnny Cueto makes his 15th start of the season, and heading into his last start, had the best ERA in the National League at 2.17. The White Sox hit him hard. Cueto gave up 5 runs, 10 hits, including 3 home runs against the White Sox in just 4 2/3 innings, a game the Reds eventually lost 10-8. You see the numbers for Cueto, they're outstanding. Dusty was saying after that game, very rarely are you going to see Johnny Cueto handed a 5-run lead and he not hold it. Excellent stuff from this young right-hander.
This is the guy who has been the drink stirrer, though. Marco Scutaro has been able to get it started so often for the Jays. Second in the majors behind Albert Pujols for most times reaching base. 137. Pujols has 138. When you are in Pujols, any category with Albert Pujols, you're doing something.
When you're in the same sentence with Albert Pujols, but a little bit different way and type of hitter. A way that Scutaro gets on base. He likes to see a lot of pitches. He uses the whole field. Pujols is just power with a great average. Marco Scutaro has the most walks of any leadoff batter in the American League.
This one is driven out to left field, where Chris Dickerson roams tonight. Last night he was in center field.
They like to move their outfielders around and their infielders. Here's the scouting report for young Johnny Cueto. He's got a very live fastball, 92 to 97 miles an hour on it. It's more of a slurve, his breaking ball, but he's got good depth with it. He's got good width with it. Takes it off his fastball, and he's got that circle change that will fade to left-handed batters and into right-handers. When you've got that slurve like he has, the combination of the slurve and the slider, that's just something else the hitter has to think about, and that will take you off that fastball.
Aaron Hill, home run last night, 16 on the season. 51 RBIs, one behind the team leader, Adam Lind. Gave Aaron a little wink batting practice today after the LSU win last night, the NCAA. Fighting Tigers. And he, of course, went to Louisiana State. Aaron Hill did, as did Brian Talent. LSU won the College World Series last night. Hill, could he do it 2 nights in a row? This one's back to the track. It's going, and it is gone. Home run, Aaron Hill. 2 nights in a row in the first inning.
That home run is number 17, which ties his career high. It also ties the all-time record for a Blue Jays second baseman. And he's got half the season to go. Fastball right down the crank. And he certainly did crank it. Watch this one go right off the top of the wall. We saw Johnny Gomes hit the ball, the exact kind of ball, in right field, and it stays in the park. This one bounces off the wall, in out, and the Jays are on the board. Home runs have not been a problem for Johnny Cueto this year. Coming into this game, just 11 given up this year. 3 of them, though, in his last start against the White Sox.
Vernon Wells stings one up the middle. 9 games in a row now for Vernon Wells, and he is starting to pick it up in June.
Ball hit hard by Wells. And that is good to see. Here's the defense for the Reds. Dickerson, Tavares, and Bruce. A lot of speed in the outfield. It's the 3rd game, so we must have a new third baseman. Jerry Hairston slides over from shortstop. Paul Janisch gets his first start since last Friday against the White Sox. Ramon Hernandez and Johnny Cueto are tonight's battery for the Cincinnati Reds.
Scott Rowland, 13-game hit streak. A guy who's been in the cleanup role before in Philadelphia and in St. Louis.
I think that's why Cito Gaston moved him into the cleanup spot, because he's had some experience there, hitting in tight situations. Vernon Wells moves up to number 3, so he knows he's going to hit every first inning. Look at the average up to 330 for Scott Rowland. Hitting over 400 in that 13-game hit streak.
Janisch, can they turn 2? Phillips can't make the play. So they get the lead runner, and Scott Rowland reaches on the fielder's choice. Aaron Hill with that home run, Pat Tabler, 17 on the season. That ties Blue Jay club record for second baseman,
set by Robbie
Alomar.
Yep.
And speaking of which, you can web chat live with Roberto Alomar Thursday, July 2nd, a week from tonight. He will be chatting about the back-to-back reunion in August and his favorite Jays memories. That's going to be fun in August. Log on to BlueJays.com. Adam Lind now. He had a home run last night. Aaron Hill had one. Vernon Wells followed. And then later, Adam Lind. 3 home runs in the first inning for the Jays last night. Staked them to a 5-0 lead. They trail 4-1 tonight. Talk about offensive categories. Adam Lind also among the top 10 in a number of categories. Arguably has been the Blue Jays' most consistent hitter this season.
One of the stats that I really like to look about when you talk about power hitters is total bases. Adam's sitting 3rd in the American League in total bases with 154. That's how many bases have I produced from my hits. 23 doubles, the 15 home runs, an average up over 300. So you know with that kind of production, you're going to be up in the league leaders in total bases. Look for a fastball right here. Let's see how hard you can hit it.
Now a full count. He has been the beneficiary of the hiring of Cito Gaston a year ago.
You know, that's just about a full season right there. Player usually on average plays about 100, 155 games. So if you add it all up since Cito came by, those are pretty impressive numbers right there. 24 home runs, 92 driven in, and 39 doubles for Lind.
Draws a walk here. Rolling down to second base, and Alex Rios. 0 for his last 7. And already a visit to the mound, just like Brad Arnsberg for the Blue Jays. The Cincinnati Reds sent out their pitching coach.
A couple of young pitchers trying to find their way in the first inning. Brett Cecil got through it but gave up 4, and now Johnny Cueto the same way. Cueto's got just a little bit more time than Brett Cecil. So this is something that you probably wouldn't see. But Dick Pohl, I think, sees something from Cueto and relays it to him out on that mound.
Rios has picked it up after a prolonged slump, batting .302, 9 RBIs over his last 15 games, but nowhere near the numbers he was putting up last June. They were off the charts, and it just seems that he hasn't been too comfortable at the plate all season.
Pitchers have pitched him differently. They have tried different things with him. You watch the Reds now, this is the 3rd game in this series, and they have been feeding him breaking ball after breaking ball. They'll show him the fastball inside, but it's that pitch right there that he's had trouble with.
Now Cueto, way ahead, can come at him with another curveball if he wants. Slider that time, a ball and 2 strikes.
I think that's what Cito Gaston and Gene Tennis have talked about with a lot of these young hitters, learning to sit on certain pitches. If you know and you've been paying attention what the pitchers are trying to do to you, throw breaking ball, why not go up there looking for it? The whole key, though, if you want to hit a breaking ball, make sure they throw you a strike.
Great hitter in his time Gene Tennis. Blue Jays hitters very lucky to have really 3 hitting coaches on this team. Cito and Tennis. Of course, Dwayne Murphy. Down goes Rios on strikes. 2 are stranded. The Blue Jays do respond with 1 run. A home run. The 17th of the season from Aaron Hill. Sticky one inside earlier, but nice to feel that air come through here. Chris Dickerson, the number 9 hitter, 8 batters to the plate in the first inning for the Cincinnati Reds, and the key right now for Brett Cecil is to get that ball down.
I think he's got to get it down, and I think he has to get strikes early in the count. It's one of the things that Brad Arnsberg told me yesterday, that if he can get that ball down and get strikes early in the count, he can do different things then. Maybe sink that 2-seamer a little bit more. Maybe throw that changeup a little bit more. He says his slider is better than his curveball, and that's just not a very good 0-2 pitch right there.
5th base hit for the Cincinnati Reds. Just like last night, the D sets up the same for Cito Gaston and the Blue Jays.
They flashed some leather last night, didn't they? Especially in the infield. Lind, Wells, and Rios in the outfield. The left side yesterday was great, and Scudero and Brolin. Overbay and Hill over there, first and second, and Barajas and Cecil.
Top of the order again, and Willie Taveras, who began the onslaught in the first inning against Cecil with the double.
Willie was just begging for a hit. He had been struggling over his last 26 games, hitting just over 100 to drop that batting average down in the 220 range. And Dusty Baker, who knows a little thing or two about hitting, says it's just timing and rhythm that has been bothering Willie Taveras. So he took him into the cage yesterday, and they did a lot of work, working on that rhythm, working on that timing. Paid off for him in the first inning.
Dickerson's got some speed at first base, too. These Reds are a threat to run. .2-0 count now. Dickerson led off last night for the Cincinnati Reds. He's the cousin of NFL Hall of Famer, one of the greatest running backs of all time, Eric Dickerson. There's a strike. You and Willie Taveras go back a long way, don't you?
Yeah. When he was a minor leaguer with the Cleveland Indians, I got a chance to work with him a couple of springs, and he's a great kid, hard worker, really cares about his craft. Got a chance to visit with him before yesterday's ball game.
Willie, who's from the Dominican Republic, I couldn't really understand what he was saying to you at the time, but I did hear him say 6 RBI and Mr. Bases loaded.
Right.
I know these guys can Google, I guess.
No, I just let him know that. You know, when I worked with him, I brought my papers and say, here, now listen to what I have to say. No, he's just a good kid, and if you could have seen him in A-ball, to watch the development of these players when they are youngsters like that, and then you see them 2, 3, 4 years later and they're in the big league. Willie's had some good years with the Houston Astros in Colorado. 4 times he has had 50 stolen bases in a season. Good pitch.
Goes down on strikes. Second strikeout for Brett Cecil, and he's trying to settle back in.
Well, he hung a curveball to Dickerson, and he got a hit. This time he fools Tavares. Gives up on it, and it splits the plate.
Jerry Hairston walked out of the batter's box there. Did you see Cecil didn't even move an inch? He just kept same stance, same everything. Goes over and watches Dickerson.
This is where Dusty Baker likes to do things right here. He's an aggressive manager. He'll start runners. He'll hit and run. He'll do a little bit of everything to keep the aggression and the lead. Doesn't really like to sit on leads like this.
Brandon Phillips on deck. And again, a little looper, and Adam Lind seeing a lot of action out there tonight. And another base hit for the Reds. And the way it's looking for Brett Cecil, he's got to settle here, or it might be a short outing.
Yeah, they've hit some balls hard, and they've also found some holes against Cecil here early. Things can't be fun right now for Lynn. You know, you play deep and they hit it in front of you. You play a little bit closer, they hit it over your head. It's like, hey, what do I need to do here?
One of those nights out there. Do a lot of running. Some nights the ball just finds you. They are, an old saying, hit them where they ain't. That's what they've been doing so far.
They found the holes. They've also hit a couple balls hard. The Gomes ball was hit pretty hard to right center field. Jay Bruce hit his ball hard, short hopping the wall in left center field. Cincinnati here in the top half of the second inning. Chris Dickerson at second, Jerry Hairston at first. A couple of guys on a base hit here certainly do some damage. They are very quick. The guy who could make you pay on a wrong pitch at the plate. Ball and a strike. Blue Jays would dearly love double play ball here. That's a good pitch. Hums one in. this is what happens with young pitchers. Sometimes they're fantastic, and other times they just don't have the experience. That when they get themselves into trouble like this, okay, what can I go to get out of this inning? Give me a purpose pitch here that will help me get that ground ball. What do I need to do with my lower half or my arm angle to help me get back into that strike zone and throw consistent strikes?
High in the sky. Alex Rios right there, and Dickerson won't be going anywhere, and there's out number 2. And like you said earlier, this is a time, too, to really rely on your catcher who's been there before and has worked with the very best in Rod Barajas.
Yeah, and Rod hasn't worked that long with Brett Cecil. Remember, he was a non-roster guy who came to spring training. He's only had 5 big league starts. So, you know, Rod is trying to figure out what is his go-to pitch, what he needs to do to get these hitters out.
Now the Canadian Joey Votto. RBI double back in the first inning. Put Cincinnati on the board. Went the other way. Former Etobicoke Ranger. Etobicoke, one of the areas of Toronto. A lot of young players have come from that area. Votto, one of them. Former high school player of the year, one of the All-Stars. You saw some of the other All-Stars here the other night.
Yeah, I like when you asked him yesterday what his thoughts were when he saw those high schoolers out there. I mean, it was only a couple of years ago. He was one of them.
He was one of them. We're with you all the way. Look where that Votto sign is. He has the power to put it where that sign is. The second deck in right field.
And he was upset that he missed a hanging breaking ball. Look how far that sign is in right center field.
He's got some serious thunder in that bat, though.
Yeah, just 134 at bats this year, and he's got 8 home runs. And it's not just power to right field. He can generate power to left center field. Opposite way, when he came back off the DL, hit a couple of home runs. The first time he came off the DL this year.
And surprisingly, unlike a lot of the other Canadian sluggers or baseball players that have done well, he's not a huge hockey fan. Or a guy who started in hockey like Larry Walker did, and Justin Morneau and Corey Koski. 2-2. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes. And you better be careful here, Brett Cecil.
Runners get a little bit of a head start.
Two, rolled over, base hit. Dickerson will score. Hairston goes to third base, and Joey Votto has a 2-for-2 night. And as we said last night, this guy's due.
Yeah, coming into this series just 2 for 18, but you could tell he is such a good hitter. Watch how he stays back on this breaking ball, keeps that front shoulder in. He's got good plate coverage. Ball that looked like it was away a little bit. He stuck his bat out there and ripped it in the right field for an RBI single. No chance for Rios to get the lead runner, Dickerson, who was off on the pitch.
2-for-2 night for the young Torontonian. 2 RBIs and a 5-1 game. Johnny Gomes. And action in the Blue Jay bullpen.
Sean Camp has become the long man out there.
Yeah.
He's usually good for 3 innings. That's about the extent where you can stretch him out, about 3 innings.
A bullpen tabby that's been taxed.
Yeah, it really has. There was a stretch about, a week or 10 days ago where the starters just couldn't get past or into the 3rd inning or the 4th inning, and that really puts a lot of pressure on your bullpen.
Johnny Gomes is kind of one of those throwback players, maybe to the 70s. You know, the guys who always had those little ticks at the plate. Massages his bat handle. Watch how many times he grabs his helmet, puts it down.
All the dirt and the grime now on the top of the.
1, 2, 3, 4. Former Tampa Bay Ray. I know when we used to do the Jays and Rays series, you were particularly fond of the potential of this player.
I was watching him one day take batting practice out here, and he was launching ball after ball after ball into the upper deck here, and I'm like, who is this guy? So I've been watching him ever since. Tears up left-handed pitching.
Sean Camp in the bullpen. Cito still on the bench. Gomes gets the walk. Bases are full. And Ramon Hernandez.
Cito's in a little bit of a pickle here. You know, he wants to get through this inning, and he doesn't want to have to bury his bullpen. But Brett Cecil's 1 batter away from getting knocked out of this game, and he doesn't want the lead to expand that much. He knows his offense is hot.
Well, a tough outing, and it may be a premonition early on when we had that interview with Brett Cecil talking about what he had to do, and maybe thinking a little too hard about what he had to do here tonight. And the Reds came in and 7 hits, 5 runs. Made it a tough night on young Brett Cecil. Pops him up, though. Rod Barajas drops his mask, and there's the out. But the Reds do get 1 more, and the lead is back to 4. Tough start for Brett Cecil.
One thing that Cito Gaston doesn't like is when pitchers just nibble and fall behind. He likes them to be aggressive. He likes them to throw strikes. If they get their hits and they get their way on via the hits, he can live with that. He just doesn't like them falling behind 2-1, 3-1, and then giving up a base hit.
You know, right there, what you saw is a page from the managerial book of Cito Gaston. There are some managers that might not necessarily do what he just did. You know what I'm saying? He might come over and just kind of go, okay. That's what Cito Gaston does with his players. Lyle Overbay, Rod Barajas, and Russ Adams for the Blue Jays. Down 4, 5-1. Johnny Cueto has done a lot of sitting around here tonight, watching his teammates put some runs up for him. Trying to reward them by holding the Blue Jays back now. Down goes Overbay on strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts for Cueto back to the last inning. Now tomorrow night is a huge night, and I think a lot of stuff going on. Not so sure that Johnny Tavares might be the #1 overall, at least according to some reports. Victor Hedman, Matt Duchene, New York Islanders pick 1, Tampa Bay 2, but who knows what will happen. We have the NHL entry draft first round coverage tomorrow night on TSN. And the rest of the rounds on Saturday. Log on to tsn.ca for more. Here's Rod Barajas.
You don't want Johnny Cueto to get himself comfortable out on that mound. He's third in the American League in ERA. And he's right now starting to pump strikes into that strike zone. He's got electric stuff. 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, so you know he's going to be around the plate, and he can miss some bats now.
Barajas drives one. Willie Tavares back to the track and makes the catch.
Two strikes. You just want to pick out the baseball and put a nice short swing on it, and it almost worked out for Rob Barajas. He hit that ball hard to center field. Hernandez, the catcher, wanted that ball up a little bit higher. Got too much of the plate with 2 strikes.
Here's Russ Adams. Had a couple hits last night. Votto takes it himself. A 1-2-3 second inning for Johnny Cueto. And the Cincinnati Reds lead 5-1 through 2.
pitch, and Votto has a double. These are the 4 doubles that we saw in the first inning. That one down the middle of the plate again, down, and the ball was up. So let's see if Brett Cecil can find that, realize that, figure out what he's doing wrong, and then correct it and get down into the strike zone.
He's also struggled with guys on base, and he's almost brought his rhythm to a crawl, more methodical.
Now, I know it's easier said than done because I've been there, but you've got one of the best defenses in all of baseball playing, and they've been playing hot. You've got to throw strikes, work quickly, and your defense will help you out.
Talked with Brian Butterfield before the game, and you know, even as a coach, sometimes you talk up your team, but he was practically gushing about this infield this season and how good they have been. We saw in this series so far, particularly at third base with Scott Rowland. Marco Scudero's only made 1 error. Aaron Hill, a lot of people talk about the potential Gold Glove down there at second base. And Lyle Overbay, who's always been solid defensively.
Overbay does not have an error. Marco has 1. Marco's got the most chances and assists in the American League. I think Overbay would be up there a lot more. Remember, early in the season, Cito was platooning him for the most part, but he's had a fantastic season so far defensively. And Aaron Hill right up there with Ian Kinsler for the most chances, putouts, fewest errors in the American League. And what can you say about Scott Rowland with his 7 Gold Gloves over there? So they have been outstanding.
Up the middle. Blows it past Brett Cecil. Paul Janisch has a base hit. And this is where Cecil has again brought it down to almost a crawl at times in this game so far.
Yeah, this is where you want to speed it up. I think one of the problems that he has had is trying to get on the same page with Rob Barajas. He has shaken him off a few times. He's had to step off a few times. He's had to call him out to the mound and talk about what they want to do. This is where you want to speed it up, throw strikes, and get out of this inning.
Chris Dickerson, base hit, run scored. That's the key to get out of this inning quickly here and again get Cecil back out there again and eat up some more innings. Not get to that bullpen. Two balls and a strike now to Dickerson. Willie Tavares, the leadoff hitter after this, top of the order. Climbs the ladder this time. This was the score last night, only reversed, 5-1 Toronto, and Blue Jays were sending a lot of batters to the plate.
Cecil has a good fastball. Blew that one right by Dickerson. Now make a pitch right here. Get that ball on the ground. Use that defense.
Had a number of these now, 2 full counts. Vernon Wells will call off Adam Lind over into left field. Second out, Janisch back to first, and to the top of the order we go for Willie Tavares, who struck out in his last at bat.
Pregame. Willie, a couple of years ago when he was a member of the Houston Astros, put together a 30-game hit streak. And with his speed, you can see why, one of the reasons why he could do that. Lots of bunt hits, a lot of infield singles. If you make a mistake, he can juice a ball also.
And does this. Cecil has to eat it. Just like that. Bunt single from Willie Tavares.
Coming into this season, the most in the major leagues with 110 bunt hits over the last few years. Now, I don't really agree with this, with 2 strikes and a runner at first base, because right now you've put the onus on Hairston to drive in a run. Still takes a single. I think with a guy who is struggling on the mound, you hit a double and you're going to score that runner from first base. The bunt hit is nice and it's great for your average, but I don't think it really does anything for your team, does it?
I think it says a lot, too, about the guy who's struggling at the plate and just trying to get to a base, perhaps.
Yes, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. I understand that. But with 2 outs, you're going to try and drive that runner in from first base with a double.
Absolutely.
With 1 out, great play.
Here is Jerry Hairston Jr. And the Reds tonight 4 for 9 with runners in scoring position so far, and we're only in the 3rd inning. It's already been a long night for Brad Cecil. Hairston has a base hit. Also lined out to Lyle Overbay back in the 1st. Reds beginning the night 2 games under 500, 4.5 games back. A division leading St. Louis in the NL Central. The Blue Jays, with their 40-33 record, were in the NL Central, they would be in first place. But they're 5 games out in the AL East, tied with the Yankees behind Boston.
Every year there's an argument about that. If this team was in this division,
yeah, I know.
I mean, you go way back. Remember the old American League West. Teams that were 82 and 80 would win the division.
Well, this is a very costly walk now. No one was up in the bullpen.
That gets them up now. There's the Blue Jays, just 5 games out in the tough American League East. Even Baltimore, 7 games under 500. I think they're an up-and-coming team because they've got a lot of good young players on that team.
4 straight pitches to Jerry Hairston brings up Brandon Phillips with the bases full. Phillips has grounded out and flied out. Is already his 3rd at bat here in the 3rd inning now. Well, there he goes. 0-2. Now, not to make a mistake, because it's happened already tonight in an 0-2 count.
Yeah, this is where he has to figure it out and make a pitch. Phillips is very good with 2 strikes and waiting, really tracking that ball and getting it deep and shooting the ball to right field. So you still have to figure out what you need to do here.
The other way, and just foul. Otherwise, 2, maybe 3 runs score on this play.
Yeah, maybe 3, because there's some speed over at first base and the ball wasn't hit very hard by Phillips. That's what I mean, that he can take that fastball and track it, let it get deep, and then at the last second just kind of flick his bat at the ball like this and find holes down that right field line. He's also got power if you come inside on him.
Foul away again.
And he's become a very good off-speed hitter. I saw Brandon Phillips when he was a youngster in the Cleveland Indians organization there, and he could turn on anybody's fastball. He had trouble with the off-speed pitch. You can find the hole there. 83 pitches already for Cecil here in the third inning. But he's become a very, very good off-speed hitter, especially with 2 strikes.
Jammed again.
Good idea right there. You can see he's looking out over the plate.
Now this is an interesting mound meeting here for Barajas, because you know Cecil has thrown everything now at Brandon Phillips, who's spoiling everything.
Probably telling him, hey, I'm not going to give you a sign here, just in case the Reds are trying to steal something down at second base. Get back there, give me a backdoor slider or whatever they decide what they want to use to try and get out Brandon Phillips. There you go, no sign.
Will he bring now? 1-2 on the ground. Scutero to Hill, and once again Brett Cecil is out of the jam, but you wonder how much he has left in him here tonight. Bottom of the third, straight ahead. Was imploring on the rookie left-hander.
It's a learning experience for young pitchers, especially pitchers learning at the big league level. You're facing experienced hitters 1 through 9. So it's a learning experience.
Marco Scutero. Cecil and the Blue Jay defense been on the field for a lot here. Just to the bottom of the third, and it's already over an hour and 10 minutes old. Votto delivers downstairs. If you're a Blue Jay fan this year, what you like about this Toronto team, though, is that no lead against them is safe.
They don't lay down, do they? They make you earn all 27 outs if you're going to beat them. Scutero again got himself into a good hitter's count, 3-1. Taking all the way. That's just confidence in a hitter when he has the ability to take a 3-1 fastball right down the middle, say, you know what, I can hit just as well with 2 strikes as I can with 1 strike.
Fly ball to right field. Jay Bruce back to the track. Well, tonight is a ladies' night out. The next one is Thursday, August 20th. Ladies' night out section receive a pink Blue Jays cap. There they are. Well, the ladies tonight. It's a great night out.
We got to give them something to cheer about now.
Die-hard ball fans.
Yeah.
Now Aaron Hill, home run back in the first inning. Talked about Aaron Hill, his 17 home runs. Ties Robbie Alomar, second baseman all time for the Blue Jays with home runs. If he continues on this pace, you project him out, it would be 37 home runs.
37 home runs.
Now he has to hit those, of course, but that would be close to the all-time record for second baseman. Major League history. Tabby trivia.
This is a guess. Davey Johnson, 43. Atlanta Braves.
Aaron Hill is out. I know Ryan Sandberg had 40 back in 1990.
Sandberg might have had more. Good defense from the third baseman, Jerry Hairston. This is his 25th start over there at third base. He's also played some shortstop, some outfield. That's a nifty little play for his pitcher right there to throw out Hill.
Vernon Wells with a single tonight. Home run last night, vanquishing thoughts of that homerless drought of 160 at-bats, the longest of his career, which he went through this season.
Just the last couple of days, you can see it just by the way he is taking pitches that he's getting himself ready to hit. Got that front foot down. He's got his hands back in the hitting position, even on balls. Singled hard his first time up. Really?
Three one. Airborne. Giannis out to get it. Another 1-2-3 for Johnny Cueto and the Reds. 5-1 Cincy after 3.
shortest outing of his young big league career. The 3 innings, it took him 96 pitches to get through that. So you have to take the good with the bad. He had a scoreless inning streak this year of 16 straight innings. Now a little bit of a rough patch. He will give way to Sean Camp for the 25th time Camp takes over. Saw him a couple of nights ago. And his night was very brief then. Just faced 3 batters. That was on Tuesday night against the Cincinnati Reds. He came out, Cito came out and got him. So he is well rested. Let's see if we can get some innings here, hold down the Reds, and give the offense a chance to come back in this one.
Well, the guy who was ice cold in his return games to Toronto before tonight is now 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs tonight, Joey Votto. Last year in his rookie season, made his presence felt for sure. And another base hit as Aaron Hill laid out and almost got glove to ball.
Great effort by Hill. Probably can't understand why he didn't come up with that one. Look how quick he reacts to the ball. Got very quick feet, and he lays out and just misses it. Ball wasn't hit that hard by Votto, but it's just out of the reach of Hill, who goes out 100% on every single play.
Votto in his rookie year last year, 24 home runs, the most by a Reds rookie in over 50 years.
Put a rush on that National League Rookie of the Year vote, didn't he?
Yeah, had 3 home runs in 1 game. 3rd Canadian-born player to do that. Larry Walker and Justin Morneau had done that before, but the only Canadian-born rookie to do it. Johnny Gomes. Votto at first. Gomes 1 for 1 with a walk, double and an RBI. Down to Scott Rowland. Can they turn 2? Hill quickly, and they do. It's textbook when Scott Rowland gets that ball.
Around the horn they go. You know, and Aaron Hill's got that good arm at second base, so he can turn it. You stay down, you feel the ball in the middle of your body, and then the next thing you need to do as a third baseman is make a good throw to your second baseman. Give him that ball up high where he likes to have it, where he can work around that bag. Rowland with one of the most accurate arms in baseball, and Hill with a very good arm at pivot at second base.
So back to Tabby trivia. Let you think about that at home. And you said again?
I said Davey Johnson, 43 home runs in 1973.
You, sir, are correct.
Giddy up.
Second on that list, Rogers Hornsby with 42 and Rhino with 40. Rowland has to hurry, and they got him. Another gem from Scott Rowland. First time tonight, a 1-2-3 inning for the Blue Jays, thanks to the Gold Glover. Troy, the Los Angeles Dodgers, innocuous at the time, but that was the beginning. 3 shoulder surgeries, torn labrum in the shoulder.
Scott was coming off a career year in 2004 where he set career highs in home runs with 34, RBIs with 124. And that front side as a hitter, that left arm, if you are a right-handed batter, that's your guide arm. That's where your power is, right there. And if you have problems with your shoulders, it's tough to get that bat through.
Giannis with a nice play on the backhand to get Rowland. Scott Rowland, who's done that so many times. Think about, again, what happened at the time. He did come back. He had surgery that year, came back the next year, and shoulder was bad, but still won a world championship with the St. Louis Cardinals. And then the next year had surgery again. But, he's adjusted. And one thing the Blue Jays have had this year, a healthy Scott Rowland.
He's been healthy, and you talk about the adjustments that he has made. And I think that's such a huge attribute for a big league player that you have to keep.
Adam Lind.
As Lind is hit right in the wallet. You have to keep making adjustments from year to year because pitchers are going to do it to you. Injuries might have some of the problems with that. And Rowland's done a good job.
So one gets away from Johnny Cueto. Gets Lind right in the backside.
That is respect right there. I think if I'm Adam Lind, I say, you know what, I know I'm swinging the bat well, and I've had some big hits against the Reds in this series. Just one of those, hey, I know you're there. I know you're doing well. Smack you in the backside just to let you know.
So Lind has been at first base twice tonight, once on a walk, another time just now getting hit, and Rios struck out back in the first inning.
How about a long one right here to get us right back in the game? 2-0. Look for something hard. Changed up on him.
Brandon Phillips, Giannis, and the Reds turn their own trick. Double play ball. And a 1-2-3 again for Johnny Cueto and the Reds. It's 5-1 after 4. CFL on TSN Sunday night, 7 o'clock, 4 o'clock Pacific. Run down all 8 teams as they ready themselves for the 2009 season. A lot of changes as we head to the 5th inning here at Rogers Center tonight. Sean Camp in relief of Brett Cecil only worked 3 innings, gave up 5 runs. Power hitting Jay Bruce at the plate. High fly ball down the right field line. Alex Rios coming over to make the catch.
Thank goodness that ball was hit as high as it was by Jay Bruce.
He just missed that. That would have been some second deck power, maybe third deck.
Yeah, just out in front on his front foot just a little bit. You can see Rios now realizes that that ball is floating into foul territory and quickly gets over there to make the first out.
Paul Janisch now the shortstop tonight for the Reds, who have been without the guy who should be at shortstop for a while. Last season, Alex Gonzalez missed the entire season and then hurt again this year. Edwin Encarnacion, their third baseman, he's in a rehab assignment right now. Encarnacion, a big part of the corners for the Reds.
Yeah, some big power. He played in Louisville last night, 2 for 5 in that game, a 2-run home run and a single, so he's getting close.
Remember when they were the Red Machine, though? They haven't been the Red Machine in a long time. Lyle Overbay.
Now, they did win the World Series in 1990, but that wasn't the big Red Machine.
No.
Not the one you're talking about.
No, but they, you know, everybody always called them the kind of Red Machine. They've had 8 losing seasons. That's why they went out and hired Dusty Baker last year and Walt Jocketty coming over. Dusty's a 3-time National League Manager of the Year. Twice with San Francisco, once with the Cubs, got them to a World Series. Won a World Series as a player with the Dodgers.
1981?
81.
Well, they've had to restock their farm system. It was barren when this regime kind of took over. And you're starting to see some of the fruits of the farm system. Joey Votto and Johnny Cueto tonight, Jay Bruce. They've got some other ones that are coming up and some good pitchers. Homer Bailey has really figured it out. Their #1 pick from just a few years ago. He will probably come up and pitch on Saturday when the Reds head to Cleveland after tonight's ball game. So they're starting to get some of those good young players that you need, small market team needs to contend.
Down Dickerson goes. Another 1-2-3 for Sean Camp. Blue Jays need some offense now. Lyle Overbay to lead off when we come back in the bottom of the 5th. Camp gets Dickerson swinging. Can't have fireworks in the daytime, but you can if you're indoors. Should be great. Canada Day. Celebrate it at Rogers Centre, the Blue Jays and Rays. Canada's national holiday. Lyle Overbay. Should also mention a big hello to the people in the province of Quebec. Yesterday's Saint Jean Baptiste holiday throughout their province, and a lot of baseball fans there. Ten hits for the Reds, 5 runs, 2 hits for the Jays, and a lone run on the board. We're in the bottom of the 5th.
We've been talking about the Blue Jays and how they've been hitting the ball. Over the last 6 games, they have averaged about 8 runs a game, and the 11 hits that they got in last night's game, that's the fewest that they have had in a winning game over that last stretch here. So they definitely can come back. It's just going to be tough against Johnny Cueto. Cueto looks like he is starting to find his groove after giving up that home run in the first inning.
Checking the out-of-town scores tonight. Tabby, again, interleague play continuing. The Yankees all over Atlanta in the 4th inning and still batting. 8-1. Already 12 hits for the Yanks. A-Rod has his 10th home run of the season. Red Sox trailing Washington 5-1. Sox batting in the top of the 6th.
John Smoltz start for Boston today?
Yes, he did. And 7 hits for Washington. I'll get you an update on that. Nationals got 4 runs in the first inning. Smoltz had a couple of strikeouts.
That's why I think Boston is going to be right there all the way to the end because of their depth of their pitching staff.
Well, maybe a chance to get it started for the Blue Jays here in the 5th. Lyle Overbay walks.
You said it'll be tough against Cueto, who's got great road numbers this year, 5-2, an ERA of about 1.5, allowing just batters a batting average of 180 on the road this year. So he feels a lot more comfortable here than Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati.
Rod Barajas hit one deep to center field last time up. This one a little shallower, and Dickerson has it. One away here in the 5th. Brings up Russ Adams, again batting 9th, 2nd straight night, DH for the Blue Jays. Rounded first base in his first at bat in the 2nd inning. This is a far cry from what the Blue Jays have done through the Reds the last couple of nights. Lyle Overbay has a chuckle with Dwayne Murphy, the first base coach.
Probably telling him, hey, first baseman's playing behind you.
There's a base hit by Adams.
Don't get doubled up on a line drive.
Cito Gaston again talking about Russ Adams before tonight's game, said he likes his approach at the plate. He says he's a good hitter.
Well, he can spray the ball around the ballpark. Cueto with an off-speed pitch up in the strike zone, and he just inside outs that ball left field. We've also seen him take that ball down and in and pull it into the right field corner. Good at bat there. Blue Jays trying to cash in that leadoff walk to Overbay.
John Smoltz, by the way, out of the game now in Washington. 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 runs. Marco Scutaro with a runner in scoring position now. Just 1 out. Jays down by 4. Fly ball. Jay Bruce. Overbay won't be going anywhere, and so 2 away for Aaron Hill, who has to be considered one of those guys you might think has a chance to get to the All-Star game in St. Louis. Vote for your favorite Blue Jays. Wells, Rios, Hill, Rowland, whoever. Fans allowed to vote a maximum of 25 times on email addresses. Vote early, vote often. Voting ends July 2nd for the big game, and Roy Halladay would have to be considered serious candidate to be a starter. Roy Halladay, by the way, will throw again tomorrow, and there's a good chance, if everything goes well, that he would pitch Monday against the visiting Tampa Bay Rays.
He's had his trouble against the Rays in the past, so this will be interesting. We'll get out here early tomorrow and we'll watch him throw. I don't think it's a simulated game that he's going to throw tomorrow. I think he's just going to throw and maybe do some exercises, jump off the mound, maybe cover first, something like that, to make sure that groin is testing out at 100%.
Aaron Hill, already a home run tonight. 16 on the season. That's 17. Again, tied Robbie Alomar. One more to become the all-time leader for a season in home runs. Bit of a lather on some of these players. Muggy night in Toronto. Was really hot last night. Might have been muggier last night.
Yes.
Muggy inside this building when they had it closed.
Pitchers like it when it's nice and hot like this.
Keeps them nice and loose.
Keeps them loose. You mix a little rosin with that sweat and you get a good grip on the ball.
Ball seems to carry a lot when it's hot here.
We've seen that the last couple of days from Blue Jay batters. Is the count 3-0? I thought it was 3-0, and I think the third base umpire just came down. That's Tom Hallion, and said it's 3-0. Yes, sir.
Right, it is.
You know, I was looking at the scoreboard and I kept seeing 2-1, and Cueto was getting off the mound, and all of a sudden Hallion came down and said it's 3-0, so the bases are loaded again for the Blue Jays.
Well, here's a situation where Vernon Wells comes up. Had a base hit earlier. Home run last night. Down 4, tying run at the plate all of a sudden. Overbay, Adams, and Hill on the bases.
Time to dial it in right now. 5 straight balls from Cueto. He's got to come to you. Look for a fastball right here in your zone. Not there.
Plus, he's been having a hard time finding the plate.
You can see Vernon Wells is geared for that fastball, but it's off the plate. It looked like he turned that fastball over a little bit, did to Johnny Cueto. Wells strong enough to hold up on it. Now you can look for that pitch down and in. The pitch that Wells likes. Ooh. Shows you the confidence he has in that breaking ball. Threw him a slider.
Drilled to the corner. 2 runs will score. And Vernon Wells is starting to heat up. Different ball game now.
Yes, it is. June has always been Vernon's best month production-wise, home run-wise, batting average-wise, and you can see why. Ball on the inner half. He doubles up on that two-seam fastball trying to sink it, but not this time. Wells rips it into the corner. Dickerson saves a run by cutting that ball off, or I think Aaron Hill scores.
5-3 game now. 20th double for Vernon Wells. 36 RBIs now on the season. Blue Jays know, if you've been following this team the last few years, the importance of this month to stay in the race. Or there's been a team that's been able to take off, or the fact they've had a June swoon. Stay in it, get there, and they need Vernon Wells. There is no doubt. And this guy, Scott Rowland, also riding very hot stick right now. Down the right field line, slicing, just foul. How about that power the other way?
Wow.
That was close.
Ball just kept carrying and carrying. You mentioned in this inning how the ball carries when it starts getting hot here in Toronto in the summertime. That ball just kept carrying down the right field line, and at the last minute just sliced away from the foul pole, or the Jays would be leading.
Another base hit here from Scott Rowland. We'll be all square.
Rowland has been so good at using the whole field. There's a giant gap in right center field where he has been punching the ball a lot in this hot streak. Staying inside the ball, tracking it, letting it get deep. Seen him hit about 4 or 5 balls up the alley in right center field. Reds are playing him the pull. That hasn't been his game.
Cueto now ahead, 1-2. 13-game hit streak for Scott Rowland before tonight. Reached on a fielder's choice and a ground out. Up the middle. A base hit. And we are tied. And the streak continues.
How about that at bat by Scott Rowland? 2 strikes. He shortens up his stride. He shortens up his swing and just punches the ball back through the middle. He'll choke up with 2 strikes, and look at that. Doesn't overcommit at all. Just bangs it right back through the middle, right over the head of Cueto. Not even a full swing from Rowland, and it's a 2 RBI single.
What a streak. 14-game hit streak. The guy's been Ted Williams during that streak, hitting over 400 practically since late May.
How many multi-hit games has he had in that streak?
9 multi-hit games.
Ooh.
7 of his last 9.
Now he's overthrowing right there. That fastball reaching back for a little something extra.
Leading by example, Scott Rowland. Is he ever seeing it? Adam Lind, who was hit by Cueto in his last at bat, goes the other way, but right at Dickerson, who had to fight the lights, it looked like. Still the Blue Jays answer with 4. And this game is tied at 5 after 5. Tavares is up. You know what he did last time?
Laid down a perfect bunt. Lyle Overbay was in last time. Now here he's asking right now if he should come in. Asking his coaches, trying to get their attention. Telling him to stay back.
You were here earlier today. Blue Jay pitchers working on some of their fielding.
Right. PFP practice this afternoon, something they like to do once a homestand. The bunt's out in front of home plate. Ground balls to the first baseman where they've got to cover first. Jump off that mound on a bunt. Wheel and throw to third, something they did. It took them about 20-25 minutes to do that.
Toronto Blue Jays down quickly in this game. Down 4 in the first inning, answered back with a single. And members of that rotation. Scott Richmond last night. Beauty from him. Brian Talent the night before. And this is where the offense has to come in as Tavares goes down on strikes.
Just a good two-strike pitch from Sean Camp. Watch the depth of this ball as it just falls right on that outside corner. Willie Tavares has a few words to say with home plate umpire Damian Beal. I'm sure he's saying, hey, I had the same kind of pitch earlier. You called a ball. That time you called it a strike.
Jerry Hairston followed by Brandon Phillips. Foul away. In many ways, this Blue Jay season has been about pickup. Guys picking each other up. Tonight, Sean Camp trying to pick up Brett Cecil. The offense trying to pick up starting pitcher tonight. See if they can come all the way back and get another win here.
Cito will have to piece together this bullpen the rest of the way here. As that ball is
another great again. Play. Look at this! Oh, what a play!
Well, when you make plays like that, it makes the bullpen look really good.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
The hardest part of that whole play was catching the ball on the in-between hop. Throwing from your knees one hopper across the diamond. Hey, we can do that.
You are looking at the best defensive third baseman the Toronto Blue Jays have ever had.
By far. Kelly Gruber was pretty good.
Very good. But not like this.
But not in going to your left, going to your right, going back on pop-ups. Throws that are right there. Plays like that can just pick you right up.
What a play again from Rolen. Oh, man. He is the human highlight reel. Scott Rolen, what a night for him. It continues as we head to the bottom of the sixth.
What does Jerry Hairston Jr. have to do to get a ball by Rolen? That was him last night, and then that's Jerry Hairston right there, getting extra bases taken away from him by that man right there, Scott Rolen. Fun to watch.
7-time Gold Glover. Worth the price of admission every night. Again, chatting with Cito, he's seen them all, you know, and he says Scott Rolen's the best he has ever seen. He didn't get a chance to see Brooks Robinson, who was the all-time leader in Gold Gloves at third base. Brooks Robinson was a big guy during his time, 6'1" or something. Scott Rolen, 6'4". For a guy his size, I asked Brian Butterfield before the game, who does he compare him to? He said Matt Williams. Bigger guy, bulkier, but he had more of a...
He's more athletic.
More athletic.
Yeah. He's a little bit more athletic. That's the basketball background that Scott has.
Rios down on strikes for the second time tonight. And again, the Toronto Blue Jays playing comeback here, and if they can come all the way back in this game, I'll tell you what, it's not only Scott Rolen's glove and arm, but also his bat, 2 RBIs. Vernon Wells, 2 RBIs. Aaron Hill, the home run. Lyle Overbay got that last inning started with that walk from Johnny Cueto. Lyle Overbay crushing one out to center field, but Tavares says hello to the wall.
There is no substitution for speed when you're in the outfield. Great jump by Tavares. This looked like double all the way from Overbay, slicing away from him, but he gets on that horse quickly. Watch him take a look at where that wall is. Right there. He knows now he's got about 3 steps. Outfielders will go out there every ballpark as that ball just snow cones in the top of his glove. They'll go out there the first day they come to a ballpark that they aren't familiar with, and they will practice taking balls off the wall. How many steps do I have until I hit the wall? Textbook right there by Willie Tavares to take away extra bases.
Now Rod Barajas. Fly out to left field. Fly out to center field. That was caught by Tavares earlier. A little funky for outfielders, too, who do not play here regularly, and you see them during BP and before the game also running near those auxiliary scoreboards, which can be a little disorienting as well.
Very tricky out there. The warning track here is a little bit different than other warning tracks that we've seen. Warning tracks are usually dirt. Here it's that field turf just painted brown.
Some volcanic ash mixed in or something like that.
To simulate that there's a change from the turf as you go from the grass portion to the warning track portion. You're supposed to feel those little nuggets under your feet.
When you're going high speed, though, I mean,
you don't have time to think about that. But you see when Willie went back there, he took a quick glance to see where the warning track and the wall was, and he knew how many steps he had before he was going to crash into that wall.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Barajas. This 5-5 game, and Johnny Cueto just rears back and fires a fastball that blows by Barajas. 1-2-3 for Cueto and the Reds. 5-5 as we head to the 7th inning. Night it was. Full house here, and Canadians almost pulling off the upset, and then disappointment a little later, of course, for Team Canada and Joey Votto losing to Italy. Votto now riding a 3-hit night. First time he's faced Sean Camp. This one's hit hard, high, way back, and gone. Welcome home, Joey Votto. That was a towering shot.
Back into the groove, sure looks like it. A good off-speed hitter. Looked like Camp tried to spin a slider up there, down and into a lefty. That's where they like it, and a high, majestic home run by Votto. It's been 2 months to the day that Sean Camp has given up a home run. Last one against the White Sox, and now this one breaks the tie.
Johnny Gomes follows with a base hit. So I'm sure Cito Gaston will be on the blower here to that bullpen shortly. Blue Jays fight all the way back and then give up that home run. But how about Joey Votto? And you have to feel good for the kid, especially with what he's gone through. And don't think that for a moment that this night there's some emotions running in that body too. A 4-hit night for him. And a home run.
That looked just like the home run we showed from the World Baseball Classic. Deep to right field.
This into the corner and out of play. Joey Votto also talked about his Team Canada experience being around a coach and a legend in Larry Walker.
He is a great guy, and I really wish that I spent a little bit more time with him. Again, short tournament. We got knocked out so quickly, but he was a fun guy to be around, fun guy to talk baseball with, and you know, more than anything, he was one of those guys who I could go up to and ask questions, ask baseball questions, ask off-the-field questions, and he'd give me an honest answer, and it was something I can still say I apply to my game today.
Well, you learned from the best in Larry Walker, the best positional Canadian player ever, inducted into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame last weekend in St. Mary's, along with Ernie Witt. Larry Walker, what an outfielder he was.
You know, nobody talks about his speed or his defense. They talk about the home runs and the batting average and things like that. You look up some of his numbers and the stolen bases and the gold gloves and things like that, the way he could play defense. And he was a 5-tool all-round player.
Scudero to Hill. Twin kill here. Matt will help.
He started the most double plays of any shortstop in the American League. When you hit it right by him, he'll scoop it up, and that man right there, 51 double plays he's been involved in.
Now Jay Bruce.
What a job Sean Camp has done. Working on his 4th inning, his career high in innings pitched was 5. That was set 5 years ago against Cleveland. What a good job he has done here tonight.
Aaron Hill, backhand, the throw over. More sparkling D from the Blue Jays. But Joey Votto, 4-hit night, 3 RBI night. Big home run. Back home again.
some offense. Scott Rowland's big 2-run single. A couple of innings ago, we've seen some great defense. Aaron Hill and Rowland. Blue Jays fight back to tie it. Votto unties it in the top of the 7th. We head to the bottom of the 7th, and Johnny Cueto is now out of the game. He had pitched 6 innings, 11 straight starts before his last one, and he's at it again this time. Now, after 6 innings and giving up 5 earned runs, he will give way to Nick Massett. And look at the numbers that Massett brings to the mound. 4-0 with an ERA under 2. Opponents hitting just 144. Big, strong right-hander. He throws hard. That's why he's got a lot of strikeouts. 6'4", 235. They got him from the White Sox, along with Danny Richard in that Ken Griffey trade a couple of years ago.
Russ Adams has scored a run here tonight, and a base hit back in that 4-run 5th inning for the Blue Jays. Hitting .400, but again, recently recalled from AAA Las Vegas. Adams. It's a fly ball out to center field, and Willie Tavares is there again. Both teams now get to the bullpens. Cincinnati got to Toronto's early.
They could only get 4 2/3 out of Johnny Cueto his last time to the mound, but he gives him 6 good innings, 95 pitches. It looked like he was wearing down just a little bit towards the end there. 5 earned runs on just 5 hits. You throw in 3 base on balls. Some big hits by the Blue Jays in the 5th inning. Vernon Wells double, and then the single by Rowland.
Marco Scutaro, rare night for him, has not been on base yet. 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th. Massett delivers outside.
And another thing that you like about Marco Scutaro is he sees 4 pitches per at bat, which is a very good ratio. A lot of times you see guys up there just hacking away, but he likes to work that pitcher, sees a lot of pitches, and he's got more walks than strikeouts. So he's got a good idea of the strike zone, and when they do throw it in there, he hits it. Not a lot of swing and misses for Marco Scutaro this year.
By the way, the Yankees have seen the Atlanta Braves come back on them with a 5 spot in the 4th. It's now 8-6 Yankees in the 5th. And the Washington Nationals, despite their record, Willie Harris, home run, 9-1. They lead the Boston Red Sox in the bottom of the 7th. So if the Blue Jays can come back and rally here, they can creep within 4 games of the Bo Sox. Oh, he struck him out.
Came all the way back. Nick Massett fell behind 3-0. And he came all the way back, painting this fastball on the outside corner. He's got a little dip to that fastball. Right-handers can't give up on that ball away. Looks like it comes back over the plate. Paints it right on the outside corner.
Aaron Hill, 1 for 2 tonight with a walk and 2 runs scored. Massett really turning up the heat there. 94 miles an hour on the gun.
Another one of those players that was in the Texas Rangers organization and they lost. John Danks comes to mind. Massett, another big, strong, hard-throwing pitcher. Looks like he's going to have a 1-2-3 inning.
Giannis zips it over. 1-2-3 indeed. We head to the 8th, a 1-run ball game because of Joey Votto's solo shot in the 7th. 100,000 fans get that nice looking cap. 416-341-1234, BlueJays.com/giveaways, or most Rogers Plus locations to get your tickets and information. See you at the ballpark on Sunday. Brandon Lee again now.
Trying to pick up where Sean Camp left off. 4 good innings for Camp. Just 3 hits, and that 1 run he gave up right now is the difference. When Brandon Lee is throwing hard and throwing strikes, combining it with that good splitter, he could be awfully tough. His problem is when he falls behind and has to get that ball.
Down the middle. Giannis kind of quivered there a little bit. Was looking like he was going to first.
The low 90s fastball with good movement will do that to you. Got to get this first guy here in the 8th inning.
Hounded foul. Chris Dickerson after that, and then Willie Tavares for Cincinnati. Due up for the Blue Jays, heart of the order, Vernon Wells, Scott Rowland, and Adam Lind. Wells and Rowland have combined for 4 RBIs here tonight. Hit hard to the gap. Vernon Wells trying to track it down. Gets there, but Giannis easily gets to second. Oh, now Chris Dickerson takes the double play out of the equation here, too. Upcoming schedule for the Blue Jays heading to the All-Star break.
Yeah, we got the Phillies and Tampa to finish up this road trip, and then our first trip into New York to see new Yankee Stadium and that launching pad, and down to Tampa and Baltimore. And then it's the All-Star break already. So some good teams out here at Rogers Center. Some good teams that they'll be facing on the road before that break. The Cincinnati Reds lead all of baseball in sacrifice hits with 46 coming into this game. You got to believe that Dickerson is going to be laying one down here. Dusty Baker playing for that extra add-on run.
Laid down perfectly. Only one play for Barajas down to first base, and he does that. And Dickerson with the sacrifice.
Good back control right there by Dickerson to stay on top of that sinking fastball from Brandon Lee and get it down in the ground. This ball is moving and moving hard, and it's placed perfectly out in the no man's land where the only play is over to first base.
And now, because of Dickerson, you also have double trouble here with another guy in Tavares,
who can bunt,
who can lay it down.
And well, they might give him one shot at trying to drive him in, but he's very good at bunting. You might look for a squeeze here. It looks like they're playing for the moment contact, where Giannis is going to go on anything hit by Tavares. We'll take a look at the third base coach, the signs that he give him. Maybe they can give something away.
Janis at third after the double and the advancement thanks to Dickerson's bunt. Pitch out that time. Thought they saw something.
Thinking right along with Dusty Baker. Now, if you're going to put the squeeze on, this is the perfect time to do it. Right after a pitch out.
Whoa, what a play by Barajas. Run saver.
You take it for granted so many times, okay, you're just playing catch, but you just have no idea how hard this ball is coming. You're anticipating it on the inner half, and you got to reach all the way across your body and catch it. It's a great play right there by Barajas. Here it comes.
There it is. Down the line, and only one play. And he's safe at first. Miscommunication there. And the Reds now have a 2-run lead thanks to Tavares.
That's how Dusty Baker plays it. He wanted to get that one run in. I mean, the whole situation was crying for a suicide squeeze. If you are the runner at third base, you don't go until that pitcher throws that leg right there. You take off, and if the bunt is placed perfectly, there's no chance of getting him at the plate. And with the speed of Tavares, there's no chance of getting him at first base either.
So another bunt single from Tavares. Jerry Hairston with only one out. 7-5. There goes Tavares. Not a chance. He was practically halfway there.
4 seasons of 50 stolen bases. He's not going to wait around over at first base very long. Goes early in the count. Almost a walking lead by Tavares, who steals it without a throw. Head down. That's no hit and run. He's going straight into the bag.
Gets away from Barajas, and now Tavares is a long fly ball from scoring.
That's what speed will do, especially at the top of the lineup. Puts pressure on the defense, puts pressure on the pitcher.
And Brandon League's inability to get Paul Janis, first guy out, has cost him here. Set up the whole inning for the Cincinnati Reds.
2-0 now. The infield has to come in again. Tavares is going to get a good aggressive lead. They're going to try and score another run here. Probably run the contact play. Blue Jays thinking they're squeezing. Counts 3-0 now.
Well, here it comes right here, 3-1. And Lightning at third base.
They're not going to squeeze twice in an inning, are they? They've been struggling to score runs.
Talked about the contact play.
Yeah.
So now 3-2. Again, the Reds scored 4 times in the first inning. Doing what the Blue Jays did last night. Score early and often. It's 4-1, then 5-1. Blue Jays get 4 back in the 5th to tie, but Joey Votto's home run, and now here in the 8th, Reds extend the lead to 2 runs, 7-5. Strike 3. Needed that.
No need for any argument there. That looked like it was right there. League has that ability. Splitter right there. Hairston can't pull the trigger.
So So now Brandon Phillips, an 0-4 night. Infield back at normal depth. Seemed like it just took a couple of pitches, couple of batters for Brandon Lee to get warm here. Significant number. He's allowed at least 1 run in 6 of his last 10 games.
That's something you don't want to see from a late inning reliever.
Now 0-2 and way ahead. Trying to get him here. Get some runs back. Dribbler down to Scutaro. Quick throw over. But the Reds add some insurance as we head to the bottom of the 8th, and the heart of the order coming up. Vernon Wells to lead off in a moment.
Just over 200, throwing a save there for Weathers. This is appearance number 925 of his career. 19th all-time. Who would have thought that back in the early 90s? But Stormy has done a great job. He's had a great career and now takes over in the 8th inning for the Reds with a 2-run lead.
Vernon Wells, 2 for 3 night. 2 RBI double back in the 4-run 5th. Straight up in the air and playable. Hairston makes out number 1. Viva la vida means Scott Rowland. Now a 14-game hit streak. As the Blue Jays try to play comeback again. Look for their 4th win in a row.
All it'll take right now, a bloop and a blast. That's what they're looking for right here. Get a runner on. They were able to hold the Reds to just that single run in the top of the inning. So you just need to get one guy on, and the tying run comes to the plate.
High fly ball to the wall, way back, but to the track, and right there is Dickerson, who was able to track that one in the lights. And Scott Rowland just missed the blast.
Stormy can keep it off the middle of the plate, the middle of the bat. You can see Rowland just a little bit too quick, and maybe he got it off the end just a little bit. But it carries. Dickerson not playing any doubles, gets back to the wall, finds the wall, and actually has to come in to record the out.
A little different for a young outfielder here, too. Talk about the wall, the lights. We saw Dickerson had a bit of an issue earlier in the game. These banks of lights can be troublesome.
On low liners right now, it's fine now that it's getting a little bit darker. That ball up in the air a couple of innings ago, it would have been tough to pick that ball back up. Now it's a little bit darker. You got a better background to find that ball in the air. One thing about the Jays is they have really spread it around. Their last 8 games where they've won, they have 5 Jays. They have 7 RBIs, each one of those 5. So they've spread it around, and they need to do that again here tonight to come back.
Rolls it over. Phillips in a 1-2-3-8. We head to the 9th. Cincinnati Reds lead the Toronto Blue Jays 7-5. Toronto back home, but not tonight. Joey Votto beginning the night in the first inning with a double and an RBI, then a single and an RBI in the second, another single in the 4th inning, and then in the 7th, which is the big blow right now, solo home run. He is a triple shy of the cycle, and Joey Votto will lead off here in the top half of the 9th inning with the Reds leading 7-5.
And his next triple will be his first triple of the season. And if he's going to do it, he's going to have to do it against a new pitcher. Jesse Carlson comes on for the 36th time. He now takes over the American League and league lead in games pitched now. Cito has used him often this year.
Kind of funny. Joey Votto comes home. He has a lot of fans in game 1. Got nice ovations. They remember him for Team Canada and being a local boy. Some of those Blue Jay fans not cheering him as much now here in the 9th inning. Spoiled the party for the locals with his 9th home run of the season.
Wasn't happy with that call right there. Thought it was off the plate.
2-strike pitch. Strike 3. Jesse Carlson with the first out. The Cincinnati Reds, Tabby, have lost 4 in a row, 9 of 12, so they would just love to put one in the win column here tonight. Votto goes down swinging. It's been a struggle, and 8 losing seasons in a row. Sub 500 seasons in Cincinnati.
Yeah, try to get some kind of momentum as you head to Cleveland to finish up the interleague part of your schedule. Do it on getaway day, just hanging on right now.
Johnny Gomes. And the umpire will come out, and looks like it might have gone off Barajas. Give him a little time. Gomes last night with a home run in the loss. Tonight a double, RBI double, and also a base hit. 2 for 3 night. Ball and 2 strikes. You know, we saw stormy weathers in that last half inning. The last link out there to the World Series in 1992 of players out there active who has a World Series ring. For a long time it was David Wells, Mike Timlin.
Mike Timlin.
Oh, Scudero from his backside. No way. Yes. Have we seen some D here tonight?
Well, I think every one of the infielders now have thrown from their knees to get a Reds runner over at first base.
This one was from his butt.
Stays back, gets it on the big hop, and then has plenty of arm to one hop it over to Overbay. What a play by Marco Scudero.
Spectacular
and
D.
Roll it.
And roll it, and who name it.
Yeah.
And also from the Cincinnati Reds. And this into the corner, a laser beam from Ramon Hernandez, who is thinking about 2, and no problem with a double here. That on a rope. So now, lefty on lefty, Jay Bruce comes to the plate. Double for Hernandez.
You know, the Reds hitters are probably going to be happy to get away from this infield. Look at Johnny Gomes saying, sir.
That's respect. And that's baseball.
They've taken away, I don't know how many hits this series from the Reds batter.
The numbers back it up. Blue Jays, best D in the majors. Reds have their closer warming up in the bullpen, looking to pad their lead. Fouled away, evens the count. Carlson trying to end it. 2 up for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 9th. Alex Rios, Lyle Overbay, and Rod Barajas. Rios struggling at the plate tonight. 2 strikeouts and grounded into a double play.
Jay Bruce doing a better job of staying in on left-handers. Carlson trying to snap off a breaking ball on him. He's fouled off a couple of tough pitches.
Count now full. Down the line, hooking. Just foul. They got some left-handed pop, young pop in this lineup.
Just think where they're going to be in a few years when these guys get some experience.
3-2 again. And a looper down the line. It will be foul. Bruce stays alive.
Think about the Reds when you talk about good young hitters. Remember the player they traded to get Edinson Volquez, Josh Hamilton. Could you imagine Hamilton in this lineup here?
Wow.
Some left-handed thump for you.
They'd have 3 Bash brothers. Got him. Struck him out. And we head to the bottom of the 9th. Blue Jays down 2. Alex Rios, Lyle Overbay, and Rod Barra. Rogers Blue Jays baseball on TSN is brought to you by Rogers, Canada's fastest mobile network. 3 times faster than any other. Visit rogers.com/fastest internet. Francisco Cordero comes out. 7-5 lead for the Cincinnati Reds. 15 hits from the Reds tonight.
And a lot of doubles, a lot of extra base hits. 17 for 18 in saves this year. Cordero, which places him 3rd in the American League. In that, throws hard. Reds signed him as a free agent back in November of 2007, a 4-year contract. He was playing with the Milwaukee Brewers. After that 07 season, he throws hard. 96, 97 mile an hour fastball with a slider and a hard splitter that he throws right out of the same chute as that fastball, so it's hard to pick up. That's where he gets a lot of his strikeouts.
2-run game. Rios, Overbay, Barajas. Alex Rios to the gap, but Willie Tavares runs down yet another fly ball.
Yeah, just a little too much air under that ball. Wasn't hit right on the nose on a line. Got under it just a little bit, and we talked about that good speed out in the outfield. Just under it a little bit too much air. Hangs up there for Tavares to run it down.
Overbay. Run scored tonight and a walk. 0 for 2, a strikeout, a flyout.
Cordero's been doing it for a long time. This is his 10th big league season. 228 saves now in his career, which is 7th among active closers. Still has that crisp fastball.
Narrowly missing downstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now a big pitch coming up here for Cordero and the Reds. A sticky night in Toronto. One thing Overbay will do, as we have seen in the past, he'll battle.
He'll battle. He knows that Cordero is going to challenge him with a fastball. Doesn't want to walk him. Really no tricks at this point. You can see him just pumping fastball after fastball up at Overbay. If you see enough of him, you can get your timing down.
And he walked him. Tying run will come to the plate. Rod Barajas. Well, time for our Fast Fact, brought to you by Rogers, Canada's fastest mobile network, 3 times faster than any other. Aaron Hill's 17th home run of the season tonight ties Robbie Alomar for the most by a second baseman in franchise history, and he will, by all accounts, obliterate that record this season the way he's going. And a great number 12. Rod Barajas.
Let's get him up here in this inning. Cordero has been just about perfect this year. He said 17 for 18 in saves. The Reds, with the lead after 8 innings, are 31-0. He's a big part of it.
This is popped up, though. Brandon Phillips weighs off Joey Votto. Joey Votto, by the way, when we chatted with him yesterday and we asked him who his hero was growing up, I was a little surprised by his 2 answers. Not one because he grew up in Toronto.
Robbie Alomar was his favorite Blue Jay. What new, right?
Yeah, and I thought
a lot of players
kind of grew up as a catcher. I kind of maybe thought a catcher. Or...
Yeah, Pat Borders, no. Robbie Alomar.
Robbie Alomar and the other guy? Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan, and the reason he said Nolan Ryan was one of his favorite players, he's the only player that he sent something to him, a baseball card, that he sent back in the mail. The great Nolan Ryan.
So Russ Adams, base hit tonight. The DH for the Blue Jays, batting 9th. Blue Jays down to their last out. Down by 2. .94 miles an hour from Cordero, who can still bring it.
Going to try and keep this ball away from Russ Adams.
Whoa. Keep your head up down there. Sliced into foul territory. And that's what you do when you see your life flash before your eyes. Adams and Dickerson has the final out in a sigh of relief. What a ball game this one was.
Yeah, back and forth. The Blue Jays fell behind and they came